Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishakam Vitam Scha Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanajana Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhistam Supurakam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavad Prem Noi Bija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Bandetam Shubharam Madekasharanam Yashishvara Shidaram Banshakopatarubyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Vridayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. We're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is the Madhya-lila, chapter 7. The Lord begins his tour of South India. Danyam tam nomi chaitanyam vasudevam dayadradi nashtakushtam rupa pashtam bhakti tushtam chakaraya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being very compassionate toward a brahman named Vasudeva, cured him of leprosy. He transformed him into a beautiful man satisfied with devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the glorious Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaurabhakta Vrinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Sri Advaita Charya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Emate Sarvabhauma Nishtara Korila Dakina Gamane Prabhur Icha Upajila. After delivering Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Lord desired to go to South India to preach. Maga Shukla Pake Prabhu Korila Sanyas Falgune Asiya Koila Nila Chalebas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order during the waxing fortnight of the month of Magh. During the following month, Falguna, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. So the waxing fortnight of the month of Magh, the month is divided into two Ekadasis. After Purnima comes an Ekadasi, and everything from Purnima to Amavasya, that is called waning. So the month begins with Purnima for 15 days in the month. That half of the month is called Krishna, like they have Pratipad, then days like Panchami, Dashami, Ashtami, and then so all those days are called Krishna. That's the you can say the waning period of the month. Waning period means from Purnima, full moon, to Amavasya, the moon is getting smaller. So those days are called Krishna. Then according to the terminology of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then from the Amavasya to the Purnima, when the next month will start, those days are called Gora, like Gora Panchami, Gora Ashtami. Those days the moon is getting bigger, going to the full moon. So here it says, Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order during the waxing fortnight of the month of Magh, between Amavasya and Purnima. And Magh is in January, around January time. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order during the waxing fortnight of the month of Magh. During the following month, Falgun, he went to Jagannath Puri and resided there. Falgunera Seshidola Jatrana Dekila Premaveshe Tahabahu Nritya Gita Koila. At the end of the month of Falgun, he witnessed the Dol Yatra ceremony, and in his usual ecstatic love of God, he chanted and danced in various ways on the occasion. So Dol Yatra, that means holy, and that's at the end of at the end of the month of Falgun. So Dol Yatra is the same time as Gaur Purnima, when Mahaprabhu appeared. So Mahaprabhu would be there at the end of the month of Falgun. That's Mahaprabhu appeared in Purnima, the month of Falgun, end of the month of Falgun. And then, so that's the same time period as Dol Yatra. At the end of the month of Falgun, he witnessed the Dol Yatra ceremony, and in his usual ecstatic love of God, he chanted and danced various ways on the occasion. Chaitre rahe koila sarvabhauma vimochan vaishakera pratame dakina jaite hoilaman. During the month of Chaitra, that's following Falgun, while living at Jagannath Puri, the Lord delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and at the beginning of the next month, Vaishak, he decided to go to South India. So that means he got to Jagannath Puri during the month of Falgun. Then during the following month, which is the month of Chaitra, Mahaprabhu delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and in the next month, Vaishak, which is April, May, he decided to go to South India. So he was actually in Puri very little time before he decided to go to South India. Nijagana aniko he vinoi korea alingana kori sabai shrihaste doria tomasab janiami pradana dika kori pranachara jai Thomas Sava Chadite na Pari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called all his devotees together and holding them by the hand humbly informed them, "You are all more dear to me than my life. I can give up my life, but to give you up is difficult for me. Tumi sab bandhu mora bandhu kritya koile ihan ani more jagannatha dekaile." You are all my friends, and you have properly executed the duties of friends by bringing me here to Jagannath Puri and giving me the chance to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. Ebe sabastani mui ekdane sabemeli agyadeho jaibadakine. I now beg all of you for one bit of charity. Please give me permission to leave for a tour of South India. Vishwarup udeshe abasha amijab ekaki jaiba kaho sangina loiba. I shall go search out Vishwarup. Please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I do not wish to take anyone with me. Setubanda hoite amina ashi jabat nilachale tumi sab rahive tabat. I shall return from Setubanda. All of you, until I return from Setubanda, all of you dear friends should remain at Jagannath Puri. Vishwarup Siddhi Prapti Janena Sakal Dakina Desha Udarite Korana Echal. Knowing everything, Mahaprabhu was aware that Vishwarup had already passed away. A pretense of ignorance was necessary, however, so that he could go to South India and liberate the people there. So here it mentions Vishwarup Siddhi Prapti Janena Saka Dakina Desh Udarite Korana Echa. So he already knew that Vishwarup Siddhi Prapti, he had already passed away. Siddhi Prapti refers to passing away. Mahaprabhu knew that, but he pretended. Because he's the Supreme Lord, he knows that. He knows that Vishwarup has passed away, but he acted as a human being, not with somebody with superpowers, and he made a pretense of ignorance so that he could go to South India, because he had his purpose of wanting to go to spread Krishna consciousness all through South India. Shunya Sabarmani Hoila Mahaduk Nishabda Hoila Sabar Shukaila Muk. Upon hearing the message from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees became very unhappy, remained silent with sullen faces. So this is principally in relationship to, he's referring to the devotees, all the devotees, but he's referring to principally the devotees who would come with him from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, because he's only in Puri about 3 months or so, and now he wants to go to South India, and he says he wants to go alone. Shunya Sabarmane Hoila Mahaduk Nishabda Hoila Sabars Shukaila Muk. Upon hearing this message from Mahaprabhu, all the devotees became very unhappy and remained silent with sullen faces. Nityananda Prabhu Kohe Aiche Kaiche Hoy Etaki Jaibe Tumi Ke Iha Sahai. Nityananda Prabhu then said, "How is it possible for you to go alone? Who can tolerate this? Dui ek sange chaluka na para hatarange jare kaha se dui chaluk tomar sange." Please close the door. Many flies coming in. Dui ek sange chaluk na para hatarange jare kaha se dui chaluk tomar sange. Let one or two of us go with you, otherwise you may fall into the hands or into the clutches of thieves and rogues along the way. They may be whoever you like, but 2 persons should go with you. So Nityananda is asking Mahaprabhu, let 2 persons go with you. Dakinera tirta pata ami sabjani ami sangi jai Prabhu agya deho tumi. Indeed, I know all the paths to the different places of pilgrimage in South India. Just order me, and I shall go with you. Prabhu kohe ami nartak tumi sutradar, tumi jaiche nachal taiche nartanamar. The Lord replied, I am simply a dancer, and you are the wire puller. However you pull the wires to make me dance, I shall dance in that way. So here, what it refers to more, we can get the proper image of a puppet. Prabhu kohe ami nartak tumi sutradar, tumi jaiche nachal taiche nartana amar. The Lord replied, I am simply, you can say, a puppet, and you are pulling the strings. However you pull the strings to make me dance, I shall dance in that way. Sanyas Koriyami Chalilan Brindavan Tumiyamaloya Aile Advaita Bhavan. After accepting the sannyas order, I decided to go to Vrindavan, but you took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu made a trick to take Mahaprabhu not to Vrindavan, but to Advaitacharya's house. So Mahaprabhu says first to Nityananda Prabhu, after accepting the sannyas order, I decided to go to Vrindavan, but you took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. Nilachala Ashite Pate Bangila Moradanda Toma Sabar Gara Snehe Amarakarya Banga. Well, on the way to Jagannath Puri, you broke my sannyas staff. I know that all of you have great affection for me, but such things disturb my activities. So Mahaprabhu is describing here Those devotees who came with him from Bengal to Jagannath Puri principally, because here he's attributing them to them as faults, like Nityananda taking him to the house of Advaitacharya, breaking his sannyas staff. Mahaprabhu is making this sound as if it's a complaint, but it's actually said in great affection. I can also say that yesterday, sometimes we were talking about Jitendra Mohan and sometimes saying, oh, he did this, but then after somebody would say something, he would cry, and he is very, very wonderful person, very, very great. We had great affection for him. But sometimes we're saying something that sounds like we're attributing to him some kind of fault, but it's not really a fault. Just like this is all the plan of the Lord in reference to Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda took him to the house of Advaitacharya. There Mahaprabhu met with his mother and all the devotees. So it's really what the Lord himself desired. But he makes it sound like he's complaining about Nityananda Prabhu. You took me to the house of, instead of taking me to Vrindavan, instead of going to Vrindavan, you tricked me into going to the house of Advaitacharya. You broke my sannyas staff. And Jagannananda chaheyama vishai bunjaite je kohe se baye chahiye korite. Jagannananda wants me to enjoy bodily sense gratification, and out of fear I do whatever he tells me. Okay. Kabujadi ihar. And we see incidents like that, like later, Jagannananda making later on, not now, but later on in Mahaprabhu's pastime, Jagannananda wants Mahaprabhu to put sandalwood oil on his, or sandalwood pulp on his head, oil that he's made a big jug, and Mahaprabhu refuses. Jagannananda also sees that Mahaprabhu's lying on the ground as part of his vows of sannyas, and Jagannananda makes for Mahaprabhu like a mattress, but Mahaprabhu refuses to use it. So here Mahaprabhu says, Jagannananda wants me to enjoy bodily sense gratification, and out of fear I do whatever he tells me. Kabujadi iharbhakya koriye anyata krodetina dina more nahi kohe kata. Now you see why I'm wearing this scarf. These flies won't leave you alone. Kabujadi iharbhakya koriye anyata krodetina din more nahi kohe kata. If I sometimes do something against his desire out of anger, he will not talk to me for 3 days. That's referring to Jagannananda. Mukunda hoyana duke deki sannyas dharma tina bari shite snana bhumite shayana. Being a sannyasi, I have to lie down on the ground and to take a bath 3 times a day, even during the winter. But Mukunda becomes very unhappy when he sees my severe austerities. Antare duki Mukunda nahiko hemuke ihar duka deki mora dviguna hoye duke. Of course, Mukunda does not say anything, but I know that he is very unhappy within, and upon seeing him unhappy, I become twice as unhappy. So Mahaprabhu wants to strictly follow the vows of sannyas, and his devotees don't want him to do so, and then Mahaprabhu himself feels affected because he says, I want to follow strictly the vows of sannyas, but they become unhappy, and their unhappiness makes me unhappy. Amita sannyasi damodar brahmachari sarorohe amar upar shikadandadori. Although I am in the renounced order of life, and Damodar is a brahmachari, he still keeps a stick in his hand just to educate me. This is referring to Damodar Pandit, who came with Mahaprabhu from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. Although I am in the renounced order of life, and Damodar is a brahmachari, he still keeps a stick in his hand just to educate me. Ihar age amina jani vyabahar iharana baya swatantra charitra mar. According to Damodar, I'm still a neophyte as far as social etiquette is concerned. Therefore, he does not like my independent nature. Lokapeka nahi ihar Krishna kripa hoite ami lokapeka kabu napari charite. Damodar Pandit and others are more advanced in receiving the mercy of Lord Krishna. Therefore, they're independent of public opinion. As such, they want me to enjoy sense gratification, even though it be unethical. But since I am a poor sannyasi, I cannot abandon the duties of the renounced order, and therefore I follow them strictly. A brahmachari is supposed to assist a sannyasi. Therefore, a brahmachari should not try to instruct a sannyasi. That is the etiquette. Consequently, Damodar should not have advised Mahaprabhu of his duty. See what Mahaprabhu is also complaining about is he says, Damodar wants me to follow points, duties, and to be that he says, Damodar, as according to Damodar, I am still a neophyte as far as social etiquette is concerned. Therefore, he does not like my independent nature. What Mahaprabhu is also complaining about is he's saying there are certain things, certain etiquettes that Damodar Pandit, they're not important to him, but he wants me to follow all those points of social etiquette. So we'll see later on in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's an incident where Mahaprabhu is talking with a young boy who Mahaprabhu shows much affection for. And that Damodar Pandit is very upset because that boy's mother is a beautiful widow, and he thinks that people will think that he has interest in instructing that young boy because his mother is a beautiful widow. So Mahaprabhu is saying these points of etiquette are not important to Damodar himself, but he wants me to be above all suspicion, and he wants to apply all these rules to me. So Mahaprabhu is saying that, more or less, is saying he's a brahmachari. He should not be. Mahaprabhu is saying in an affectionate way that Damodar shouldn't be trying to instruct me, but he is. Mahaprabhu is presenting it like he's disturbed by all these activities involving his devotees, but actually Mahaprabhu is bound by their affection. He says it like it's a complaint, but he's actually very much captured by their affection. Therefore, Mahaprabhu says, Ateva tumi sab raha nilachale dina katami tirta brahmiba ekale. You should all therefore remain here in Nilachala for some time while I tour the sacred places of pilgrimage alone. So Mahaprabhu is attributing that these things, they disturb me. So therefore I want to go to South India by myself. I don't want to be disturbed. I just, I love all of you, have affection for you, but I want to travel to South India alone so I won't be disturbed. Iha sabar basha prabhu hoye jay gune dosha ropa chale kore guna ashwarane. Actually, the Lord was controlled by the good qualities of all of his devotees. On the pretense of attributing faults, he tasted all these qualities. Purport. All the accusations made by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu against his beloved devotees actually showed his great appreciation of their intense love for him. Yet he mentioned these faults one after another as if he were offended by their intense affection. The personal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes behave contrary to regulative principles out of intense love for the Lord. And because of their love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself sometimes violated the regulative principles of a sannyasi. In the eyes of the public, such violations are not good, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so controlled by his devotees' love that he was obliged to break some of the rules. Although accusing them, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was indirectly indicating that he was very satisfied with their behavior and pure love of Godhead. Therefore, in verse 27, he mentions that his devotees and associates place more importance on love of Krishna than on social etiquette. There are many instances of devotional service rendered by previous acharyas who did not care about social behavior when intensely absorbed in love of Krishna. Unfortunately, as long as we are within this material world, we must observe social customs and avoid criticism by the general populace. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire. Those are very nice comments in the purport here by Srila Prabhupada. Mahaprabhu is so much controlled by the love of his devotees that he will sometimes go beyond the principles strict principles that he observes as a sannyas. But still, one should maintain vigilance and as far as following the proper behavior expected by the public. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. But Mahaprabhu is controlled by the love of his devotees, and he attributes some fault to them, even though Mahaprabhu has actually, by doing that, he's showing how much affection he has for them. Chaitanya Bhakta Vatsalya Akatya Katan Apane Vairagya Duk Korana Sahan. No one can properly describe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's affection for his devotees. He always tolerated all kinds of personal unhappiness resulting from his acceptance of the renounced order of life. Se dukkha deki jay bhakta dukkha pai, se dukkha tara shakye sahana najai. The regulative principles observed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were sometimes intolerable, and all the devotees became greatly affected by them. Although strictly observing the regulative principles, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not tolerate the unhappiness felt by his devotees. Gune doshadgara chale sabha nishediya ekaki brahmi bena tirtha vairagya koriya. Therefore, to prevent them from accompanying him and becoming unhappy, Mahaprabhu declared their good qualities to be false. The Lord wanted to tour all the places of pilgrimage alone and strictly observe the duties of the renounced order. So Mahaprabhu is talking like he's disturbed by these qualities of the devotees. Actually, he has great affection for the devotees, and he loves the loving exchanges that he has with his devotees, but he wants to go to South India alone. And so he's saying, these things would disturb me. I remember one year, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Hashapriya went in, I don't know, September or something, September, October, like that. He went to India and he met with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and then Govinda Maharaj told him when Hashapriya left, please have Janardan Maharaj come here. So when Hashapriya came back, he told me that, and then I called up Govinda Maharaj and I said, well, Govinda Maharaj, because it was like October, Govinda Maharaj, I was going there in December for your appearance day, but if you want me to go now, I'll go now. And then Govinda Maharaj said, it would be better if you come now. That is, I don't have anybody here to disturb me. That's what he told me. So Mahaprabhu has loving exchanges with his devotees, and he talks about it. It says here, therefore, to prevent them from accompanying him and becoming unhappy, seeing Mahaprabhu's austerities, Mahaprabhu declared their good qualities to be false. So he's talking like the devotees who are his intimate associates. He's talking as if their activities disturb him, but actually has much affection for them, and he likes these activities, but he's saying that as if they were false, because the point is he doesn't want them to go with him to South India. He wants to go to South India alone. Tabhi chari jan bahu minate korila swatandrishwara prabhu kabuna manila. Four devotees then humbly insisted that they go with the Lord, but Mahaprabhu, being the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead, did not accept their request. So these are the devotees who accompanied Mahaprabhu from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. So Mahaprabhu took sannyas in the month of Magh, around January. The month of Falgun, he went to Jagannath Puri, and Jagannath Puri, he came there, and at the end of the month of Falgun, when it was Purnima, then Mahaprabhu saw the Dol Yatra. Now, Dol Yatra means holy. Holy. It's the same time as Mahaprabhu's appearance. Gaur Purnima, holy. They're the same, often the same day. So Mahaprabhu observed Dol Yatra, holy, at the Purnima, at the end of the month of Falgun. Then in Chaitra, which is the next month, around March, April, Mahaprabhu liberated or gave his mercy to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Then in Vaishak, which is April, May, Mahaprabhu wanted to go to South India. So he was in Puri very little time before he desired to go to South India. Just liberated, and what will be the effect? Mahaprabhu has given mercy to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so famous, very famous in Puri. He's like the minister and the brahman minister to the king. And everybody knows Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and now he's converted by Mahaprabhu. So while Mahaprabhu's in South India, he's just been a few months. Now everybody will be waiting to get Mahaprabhu's mercy and become his followers when he comes back. We'll see that. But in the meantime, he's just been in Puri a few months, and now he's going. Now he wants to go to South India. So this is going to be heavy news for the king, for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, for everyone. It's going to be very heavy news that Mahaprabhu is going to South India. 4 devotees who came with him from Bengal then humbly insisted that they go with the Lord. But Mahaprabhu, being the independent Supreme Personality of Godhead, did not accept their request. No, I won't take you with me to South India. Tabe Nityananda Kohe Jai Agyatomar Dugasuka Jai Hauk Kartavyamar. Thereupon Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, whatever you desire is my duty, regardless of whether it results in happiness or unhappiness. Kintu ek nivedana karun anabar bichar koriyataha kora angikar. Yet I still submit one petition to you. Please consider it, and please consider it. And if you think it proper, please accept it. So Nityananda is saying, well, whatever you order, we'll follow that. That will be our duty, whether we're happy or not. But then he says, kintu means but. Whatever you say, we'll do. But, yet I still submit one petition to you. Please consider it. And if you think it proper, please accept it. So if you like it, if you accept it. So Nityananda Prabhu is saying, okay, we won't go with you. We came from Bengal to Puri. We'll wait for you to come back. But I have one petition. Kopina bahirbas arajala patra arakichu nahijabe sabe ematra. You must take with you a loincloth. That means coping, your underwear and also clothes. You must take with you your underwear, external clothes, your sannyas, dhoti, and chadar and these things, external clothes, and a water pot. You should take nothing more than this. So Nityananda is saying, yes, you'll travel very lightly. You'll just take some, You just take some few clothes with you and a water pot to carry with you. Sannyasis carried a water pot with him. I remember when I took sannyas, I had a brass lota that I carried everywhere. It actually was very little use to me, but I carried it around. I didn't carry it with me personally. It was just packed in my bag. But I used that brass lota for bathing. I used the brass lota. It was very nice and used it for bathing. Could have used something else, but the lota. Tomara dui hastabara namaganane jalapatra bahirvas vahive kemone. Since your two hands will always be engaged in chanting and counting the holy names, how will you be able to carry the water pot and external garments? So you'll be chanting. How are you going to carry your water pot? How are you going to carry your clothes? Primaveshe pate tumi habe achetan esab samagri tomar ke kore rakan. When along the way you fall unconscious in ecstatic love of Godhead, who will protect your belongings? The water pot, garments, and so forth. So Puri Maharaj was talking the other day that one time before he became a devotee, he lied down unconscious, and people robbed his watch and so many other things, his possessions, took it, maybe his shoes, and some things like that. So this is also a point. Then Nityananda Prabhu says, when along the way you fall unconscious in ecstatic love of Godhead, who will protect your belongings, your water pot, garments, and so forth? So if you're lying down unconscious and you have your clothes and water pot and things, and you're by yourself, then naturally thieves will come and take whatever they can find. That happens. Krishnadas nami e sharo brahman iho sange koriloha dara nivedan. Sri Nityananda Prabhu continued, here is a simple Brahman named Krishnadas. Please accept him and take him with you. That is my request. So here's Krishnadas. He's a very simple person. He won't disturb you, although he does. But this Krishnadas, known as Kala Krishnadas, is not the Kala Krishnadas mentioned in the 11th chapter of the Adi-lila, a list of devotees. The Kala Krishnadas mentioned in the 11th chapter is one of the 12 Gopals, cowherd boys, who appeared as to substantiate the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is known as a great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. The Brahmin named Kala Krishnadas, who went with Mahaprabhu to South India and later to Bengal, was mentioned in the Madhya-lila. One should not take these two to be the same person. So that will be later when it's, that mention, no, yeah. So previously, at the end of the Adi-lila, it wasn't later, I'm sorry, when it listed Nityananda and Mahaprabhu's associates, it mentioned Kala Krishnadas, who was one of the Dwadasha Gopals. But here, Prabhupada is saying, this Kala Krishnadas is different, and Nityananda Prabhu was pushing that Mahaprabhu would take this Kala Krishnadas with him as an assistant to go with him to South India, because Mahaprabhu needs an assistant. Jalapatra bastra bahi tomasange jabe jetomari chakora kichu na bolibe. He will carry your water pot and garments. You may do whatever you like. He will not say a word. Tabitara Bhakya Prabhu Kori Angikare Tahas Saba Loya Gela Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Accepting the request of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu took all his devotees and went to the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So that Mahaprabhu accepted that request. Okay, I'll take Kala Krishnadas with me. Namaskari Sarvabhauma Asanan Nivedila Sabakari Militabe Asane Basila. As soon as they entered his house, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya offered the Lord obeisances and a place to sit. After seating all the others, the Bhattacharya took his seat. Nana Krishna Varta, Kohe, Kohila Tahare, Tomaratai, Island, Agyam, Magibare. After they had discussed various topics about Lord Krishna, they engaged in some Krishna Katha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, I've come to your place just to receive your order. Sanyas Kori Vishwarup, Diache Dakine, Avasha Koribe, Koriba Ami Tara, Anveshane. My elder brother Vishwarup has taken sannyas and gone to South India. Now I must go search for him. Agyadeho Amashami Dakine Chaliba, Tomara Gyade Suke, Lutia Siba. Please permit me to go, for I must tour South India. With your permission, I shall soon return very happily. So Mahaprabhu is indicating, I'll go to South India and I'll look for my brother. I have no news of Vishwarup. Mahaprabhu knows that Vishwarup has passed away. It said that previously. But he's saying, not telling him, how would he know that except he's the Supreme Lord? So he knows that. But he's saying, I have to go look for my brother Vishwarup. So you please give me permission. And Mahaprabhu is also giving the idea, I'll go look for my brother and I'll go to South India, but I also will take this opportunity to tour all the holy places in South India. Please permit me to go, for I must tour South India. With your permission, I shall soon return very happily. Shuni Sarvabhauma Hoila Atyanta Katar Charane Doriya Kohe Vishada Utar. Upon hearing this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became very much agitated. Catching hold of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave this sorrowful reply. Bahu janmera punya fale painu tomar sangha hena sangha bidi mora kori leka banga. After many births due to some pious activity, I got your association. Now Providence is breaking this invaluable association. So Mahaprabhu had only been there with Sarvabhauma 1 or 2 months, and now he wants to leave, and Sarvabhauma is very disturbed. After so many lifetimes, I got your association. Now you want to go away. Now Providence is breaking this invaluable association. Shri Bhajat Pade Jadi Putra More Jai Taha Sahe Tomar Vicheda Sahana Najai. If a thunderbolt falls on my head, or if my son dies, I can tolerate it, but I cannot endure the unhappiness of separation from you. And Ramananda Roy later, when he's talking with Mahaprabhu says, what is the greatest unhappiness? And Ramananda Roy says, except for being separated from the devotees, I know of no great unhappiness or dukh. I don't know of any unhappiness except for separation from the devotees. So Sarvabhauma says, if a thunderbolt falls on my head or if my son dies, I can tolerate it, but I cannot endure the unhappiness of separation from you. Swatantra Ishwara Tumi Koribe Gaman Dina Kato Rahadeki Tomara Chanan. My dear Lord, you are the independent Supreme Personality of God. Certainly you will depart. I know that. Still, I asked you to stay here a few days more so that I can see your lotus feet. Okay, you're going to leave for South India. I know that. But please wait a few days so I can have some association with you before you go. Tahara Vinaye Prabhu Shitila Hoilaman Rohila Dibasa Kato Nakoila Gaman. Upon hearing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's request, Mahaprabhu relented. He stayed a few days more and did not depart. Bhattacharya Agraha Kore Korana Nimantran Grihepak Kore Prabhuke Karana Bojan. Bhattacharya eagerly invited Mahaprabhu to his home and fed him very nicely. Tahara Brahmani Taranam Shatyara Mata Rande Bhikkadena Teho Ascharya Tara Gata. The Bhattacharya's wife, whose name was Shati Mata, the mother of Shati, did the cooking. The narrations of these pastimes are very wonderful. So it's interesting. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife, whose name is Shati Mata, the mother of Shati, did the cooking. So then she has a daughter. So what did she name her? What's her daughter's name? Shati. So Sarvabhauma's wife is known as Shati Mata, the mother of Sati. Agitita kohiba taha korea vistar eveko he prabhura dakina jatra samachar. Later I shall tell about this in elaborate detail, but at present I wish to describe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's South India tour. It's interesting. She's called Sati Mata, the mother of Sati. Dina Pancha Rohi Prabhu Bhattacharya Stane Shalibara Lagi Agya Magilapane. But still, Mahaprabhu's mother is sometimes called Sachi Mata, but she's not the mother of Sachi. She's the mother of Mahaprabhu, but she's called Sachi Mata. Then like that. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife is called Sachi Mata, or Sati Mata, but she does have a daughter named Sati. Huh? No, her daughter's not called Sati Mata. Her daughter's called Sati, and her name is Sati Mata, the mother of Sati, and she is the mother of Sati. I was just saying, sometimes Sachi is called Sachi Mata, but she's not the mother of Sachi. So who can? So there's some other. Dina Pancha Rohi Prabhu Bhattacharya Stane Shalibara Lagi Agya Magila Pane. After staying 5 days at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally asked his permission to depart for South India. So he stayed 5 days at Sarvabhauma's house. Prabhu Agrahe Bhattacharya Samata Hoila Prabhu Tari Loya Jagannatha Mandire Gela. After receiving the Bhattacharya's permission, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Lord Jagannath in the temple. He took the Bhattacharya with him. Darshana Kori Thakur Pasha Agya Magila Pujari Prabhuri Mala Prasada Anidila. Seeing Lord Jagannath, Mahaprabhu also begged his permission. The priest then immediately delivered prasadam and a garland to Lord Chaitanya. Agyamala Pana Harshe Namaskara Kori Anande Dakina Deshe Chali Gorahari. Thus receiving Lord Jagannath's permission in the form of a garland, Mahaprabhu offered obeisances, and then in great jubilation he prepared to depart for South India. Bhattacharya Sangyara Jata Nijagan Jagannath Prada Kina Korilagaman. Accompanied by his personal associates and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Mahaprabhu circumambulated the altar of Jagannath. The Lord then departed on his South India tour. Samudra Tire Alanatha Pate Sarvabhauma Kahilena Acharya Gopinate. While the Lord was going along the path to Alalanath, which was located on the seashore, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave the following orders to Gopinathacharya. Chari Kopina Bahirvas Rakijachi Gare Taha Prasadan Loya Aisha Vipra Dware. Bring 4 sets of clothes, of underwear and outer garments I keep at home, and also some prasadam of Lord Jagannath. You may carry these things with the help of some brahman. So bring them to give to Mahaprabhu before he leaves. Tabe Sarvabhauma Kohe Prabhura Charane Avasya Balibe Prabhu Mora Nivedane. While Mahaprabhu was departing, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya submitted the following at his lotus feet. My Lord, I have one final request that I hope you will kindly fulfill. Ramananda Roy Ache Godavari Tire Arikare Hoyanateho Vidyanagare. In the town of Vidyanagar, on the bank of the Godavari, there is a responsible government officer named Ramananda Roy. Shudra Vishaya Gyane Upekana Koribe Amara Vachane Tare Avasham Milibe. Please do not neglect him, thinking he belongs to a Sudra family engaged in material activities. It is my request that you meet him without fail. Tomara Sangera Jogya Teho Ekjan Prativite Rasika Bhakta Nahitara Sam. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued, Ramananda Roy is a fit person to associate with you. No other devotee can compare with him in knowledge of the transcendental mellows. So he's saying to Mahaprabhu, please go meet with Ramananda Roy. He's really very advanced devotee. He's a Rasika Bhakta. He is very acquainted with Krishna's divine pastimes. So this is his request. Pandityara Bhakti Ras Duhera Teho Sima Samabashi Le Janive Tumi Tahara Mahima. He is a most learned scholar as well as an expert in devotional mellows. Actually, he is most exalted, and if you talk with him, you will see how glorious he is. Now, Ramananda Roy is an extremely advanced devotee, and he is a Rasika Bhakta, but today, people in the West, many people have become such sahajias. They also talk of each other as Rasika Bhaktas. Although in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's only mentioning really that Ramananda Roy is of that stature. It's not giving that title to everyone. But now so many cheap, worthless Rasika Bhaktas have appeared in the West, and they use this term. But really, they're not Rasika Bhaktas. They're just simply outright sahajias. So it's not like sahajiism is only confined to India. It has been exported to the West. Pa! Pandityara Bhakti Ras Duhera Tehosima Samabashi Le Janibe Tumi Tahara Mahima. He is a most learned scholar as well as an expert in devotional mellows. Actually, he is most exalted, and if you talk with him, you will see how glorious he is. Alukika Bhakya Cheshta Tarana Bujya Parihas Korijachi Tare Vaishnava Bolya. I could not realize when I first spoke with Ramananda Roy that his topics and his topics and endeavors were all transcendentally uncommon. I made fun of him simply because he was a Vaishnava. Because before, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an impersonalist. He could not appreciate Ramananda as a very advanced devotee, so he made fun of him. Oh, you're a sentimental Vaishnava. Tomara prasadi ebi janimu tara tattva samabhashile janibe tara jemana mahatva. The Bhattacharya said, by your mercy, I can now understand the truth about Ramananda Roy. In talking with him, you will also acknowledge his greatness. So this is an important request that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying. When you go to South India, you will go to Vidyanagar, please meet with Ramananda Roy. Ongikara Kori Prabhu Tahara Bachan, Tari Vidai Dite Tare Koila Alingan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's request that he meet Ramananda Roy. Bidding Sarvabhauma farewell, the Lord embraced him. Gariya Krishna Bhaje Mori Koriya Ashirbade Nila Chaliasi Jena Tomar Prasade. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the Bhattacharya to bless him while he engaged in devotional service of Lord Krishna at home, so that by Sarvabhauma's mercy the Lord could return to Jagannath Puri. Etaboli Mahaprabhu Korila Gaman Murchita Hoyataha Parila Sarvabhauma. Saying this, Mahaprabhu departed on his tour, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately fainted and fell to the ground. Tari Upekya Koila Shigragaman Ke Bujite Pare Mahaprabhu Chitaman. Although Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya fainted, Mahaprabhu did not take notice of him. Rather, he left quickly. Who can understand the mind and intention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Mahanu Bhavara Chitter Swabhava Ehoi Pushpasama Komala Katina Bajramoy. This is the nature of the mind of an uncommon personality. Sometimes it is soft like a flower, but sometimes it is hard as a thunderbolt. So the great souls, sometimes they're soft like a flower, very, very gentle, and sometimes hard like a thunderbolt, because they will not let simple sentimentality interfere with their devotional service. So you can understand that. Soft like a thunderbolt, very magnanimous, kind, but hard. Soft like a flower, very, very magnanimous and kind, but sometimes hard like a thunderbolt when necessary. Flies are everywhere.
The wings are like blocking the camera.
Vajradapi Kataran, Vajrapi Katorani, Mriduni Kushamadapi, Lokotaranam, Chaitamsi, Konu Vigyatam Ishvara. The hearts of those who are above common behavior are sometimes harder than a thunderbolt and sometimes softer than a flower. How can one accommodate such contradictions in great personalities? Nityananda Prabhu Bhattacharya Utaila Taraloka Sangitari Garepataila. Lord Nityananda Prabhu raised Sarvabhauma and with the help of his men saw him to his home. So although he fainted, Mahaprabhu didn't delay his South India tour. So I'm going to stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue Mahaprabhu's, the Lord's tour of South India. Very nice. My cartos are here. Oh, here they are. What shall we do now? Okay. Hari Harai Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadara Shiva Sari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jahoite Vignana Shamishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Dasavar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tadir Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abhilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya-lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamudas Hari Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shrimad Srila Bhakti Rakshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasati, Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Ki Jai, Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Vishwarup Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmal Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Dham Mayapur Ki Jai, Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Saparshada Shri Man Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Koladvip Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai, Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai, Samaveda Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Soquel Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai, Ganga Devi Ki Jai, Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai, Shri Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Sripad Bhakti Bandavad Puri Maharaj Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hare Namo.